Now we're going to play with the oval, rectangle, and polystar tools. These three tools are very similar in that they allow us to quickly and easily create geometric shapes. They're located over here in the toolbox. The oval tool can be accessed quickly by hitting the O key on the keyboard, and the rectangle tool by hitting the R key. The polystar tool, however, is hiding underneath the rectangle tool. Hold down your mouse button on the rectangle tool and a flyout will appear, and you can select the polystar tool. Object drawing. To draw an oval, simply click and drag. An oval is created using the stroke and fill settings that we make here and down here in the Properties Inspector. I'll undo that, and the rectangle tool works in exactly the same way. There's one exception though. We have another options button here. We can give our rectangles rounded corners. So select that to whatever we like. Now, if we click and drag, we have rounded corners. Well, we have some keyboard modifiers for these. The first one is holding down the Shift key, and this will constrain artwork that you draw to either a perfect circle or a perfect square. Keep in mind, though, that a very similar thing can be accomplished by turning on snapping. You'll notice, if that's turned on, as we draw, you can see a circle that sort of follows our cursor. In the case of the rectangle tool, this little circle is on or grid lines or guides or whatever you have set in your snapping options. When this happens, the little circle gets bigger to let us know that it has snapped to something. Okay, if we hold down the Alt and the Shift keys, instead of drawing from the top left corner, as per normal, watch the cursor, it's here, and our oval extends from where we started up here. Instead of doing that, we can draw from the center. So, the center of our resulting oval will be right in the center of where we start drawing. And that can be very useful. So as you can see, using the oval and rectangle tools is very easy. The polystar tool, however, is a little bit different. Select that, and instead of having our extra options down here, they're down in the Properties Inspector. You can see an Options button appear here. Select that, and we have some options. Our two options for style are Polygon and Star. This is why it's called the Polystar tool. These should be fairly self-explanatory. We can draw a polygon with flat sides or a star with star pointy sides. We can choose the number of sides and the star point size. This will extend from a very small number such as 0.1 up to 1. Let's make this 0.5. Choose star mode with 5 sides. Click OK and see what it gives us. There we go. We have a star. Go back to the options, change the star point size, and now you can see that the points look a little bit different. Experiment with these settings. For the polygon, again, it's pretty self-explanatory. Now, to finish up this lesson, we're going to look at some more options available for these tools. These additional options only apply to the oval and rectangle tool, so I'm going to return to the rectangle tool here. Before you start drawing, before you click and drag, try holding down the Alt or Option key. Single click, and we have a new dialog box. Using this, we can set numerical values for a shape that we create instead of, and save us a lot of time, because if we make them before we even start drawing, we are not dependent on our drawing skill, and we can accurately create exactly what we want so that we don't have to change it later. We have width, height, corner radius for rectangles, and the option to draw from the center, the same as the Alt or Option key. Hit OK, and there's our rectangle. Let's try the same thing with the oval tool. Hold down the Alt or Option key. Almost the same, we just don't have the option for rounded corners, of course, because we're drawing an oval. And that brings us to the end of this lesson.